Hey guys, you're here back with another video, and today we'll be covering the ex-members of Heartbreak, which was a project that Dr. Apius was a part of before moving on to Love Letter. So this is a lot of different, six different statements, sorry, made by former members with various different things they want to say about it. So I will leave the link in the description below for that document if you want to read it. It is provided for me by Ludwig, one of the members of the server before, as well as a friend of mine who has been digging around for stuff as well. So we can go back to you can go to the document here. So we have a statement here that he did admit there was narwhals, or narwhals are falling, I think the name was, and he said he learned from mistakes, and he wants to complete. So that we saw for sure. That was some time ago, so from the first paragraphs we got here, it covers a little bit about the past of Heartbreak, where it started in February 2020 and then it collapsed around early April, it says there. And so it's a shame that happened. And Dr. Apius, or NAR, in regards to this document, they call him NAR as well, blamed it on 3D modelers. So let me just scroll here. It says here, the official reason he gave was a lack of 3D modelers. Whilst this is partially true, it was much more to mistreatment, exploitation, and neglect of volunteers. So, okay, I can understand that. So, first statement one, an anonymous source that was a former graphic artist, and graphic designer, and artist for the project. They joined the server after the announcement of the game on the r/Osana subreddit. So they say that the fragmentation of the dev team led to decisions that were without input of other departments, since they were split up into various different departments, and the fragmentation, I can understand, can definitely lead to problems within that, including one thing they noted is they scrapped 5 out of 10 established rivals without notice, and they tried to plea for conflict again, with artist department and inactive leaders, but that apparently just was ignored. They felt undervalued, and they felt like they didn't matter to the project, which I can understand. Damn, that's kind of sad. And he left them with, again, he said he screwed over 20 volunteers, and because he couldn't be bothered to deal with his own volunteers. That sounds really sad to hear that. And then we're moving on to statement 2 here. These are actually all screenshots, so they're a little bit hard to read. So I definitely recommend you downloading, going to this actual page itself, and I link below, just to get a good read on this, because it's kind of small text too. It's kind of hard to read. But generally, statement 2, former artist and writer, anonymous, tells us that Dr. Apius goes by they them pronouns depending on who they talk to. So the interesting thing is only one person has ever corrected me on that, or corrected themselves. So it's just kind of strange and inconsistent. It'd be nice if it was inconsistent, so I can actually know what to say with that. But I think it was Maddock that was the one that told me that Dr. Apius goes with they them pronouns. But again, no one has corrected me so far. But if someone can actually reach out about that, I would like to know. I want more officials. I can actually easily speak about this, because it's easier for me right now to say him and then he, him. So I'm going to stick to that for now. So it's Anon 2 found out again through the r/Osana. It's kind of there in that image right there. And they contacted Dr. Apius about practicing, because they want to practice their skills, which is, I can see that. That's nice. Because they were an artist, they wanted to practice their skills. And Dr. Apius seemed to have deleted the Heartbreak server when the Love Letter mods suggested that he could have been NAR. That's near the bottom here. Oh, and what's really strange here too is that in screenshot 3, or I don't know what's all of its screenshots, but that on March 3rd on a weekly meeting. Here we are. That's the one. They list things that were completed during one of their weekly meetings. So this is saying that these things have been done. Programming, modeling is not so great, and writing is decent. However, down here, the writers had a large 90-page lore book. that's a lot of work. I don't know how, and side 80 to 90 side characters without around 3 sentences of scrap. That's quite a bit of work. They got a plot outline and scripted cutscenes. They direct artists on how they look as well, and detail with references. That's a lot of work to do. Just creating a text document for characters. That's a lot of work already. The modeling work was admitting slower because they were unpaid. That makes total sense there. So it's kind of sad that to hear that. I think it's near the bottom that I actually read that part about discussing narwhals. Yeah, near the bottom here is where that happened. So we can move on to statement 3 because it's very hard to read with text that is just an image. I'm sorry, guys. But we got statement 3 here. It's mainly screenshots. So person in red is Triana D, a graphic designer. Basic summary is that they list things that sorry, my bad. Go looking through here. There we go. Screenshots between Triana D and someone else. I guess someone interviewing them. Dr. Apius script as a deadbeat dad had too many jokes and not enough work. They were very angry that Dr. Apius left the project without any notice at all. And I like they continued the analogy of he just dipped like he was going out for to buy cigs. Ooh, that hurts. Statement 4, another screenshot from an anonymous artist. You can just read the screenshot. It's pretty clear what they think about the whole project and how things work. And statement 5, a bit of a longer one for sure. A anonymous source that was a graphic designer and artist for the project. So I'm going to try to summarize all these 3 paragraphs. No offense to the writer. I appreciate your time. But I'm going to summarize it here, saying that they joined the project early on, despite the quality of work, because they acknowledged that it wasn't great. They were 14 at the time, but they became a lead for the graphic designers, which is very strange. They did not believe that. Like, they're in awe that happened. They say here that Dr. Apius checked in on this only like once daily, and even if for progress they didn't get a lot of feedback to actually go on. And an example story they wanted to say here was that of ignoring efforts. This individual worked really hard on a document or a concept that nobody read or acknowledged, even if like they reached out directly to Dr. Apius, which is really sad to see. We're going to continue down to statement 6 from Rebus, a former writer for Heartbreak, the Yenner simulator game that Dr. Apius or Narwhals Are Falling has created. So there want to be a warning to people who want to volunteer for Love Letter. So I'll go here. So covering the poor leadership and lack of respect for the volunteers. Heartbreak was an attempt at making a good Yen game. The only difference was between this Heartbreak and Love Letter is that the attention that Love Letter actually got versus. So Dr. Apius has said to be very hands-off, lines up with statement so far, versus the other managers, mainly programmed and implemented models and animations. Now, we have here a statement about what was done and the 90-page lore. Artists, we have here talking about the artists. They had a design for every main character, at least one. UI designers had a graphical interface, multiple icons for club members. Modelers had dozens of furniture assets. And they were very disrespected by this particular screenshot here. The Dr. Apius, I'm sorry that you can't read this, said about like, why did you hide about being narwhals are falling? I made a failed game with little to no team, particularly with broken team members. Now it's much better and I've learned from my mistakes. They're very angry at this. They said, wow, I can't believe he said that. We worked so hard for them, and yet this is all we get? Like, that's a hit right there to see that kind of tweet, honestly. So, it looks like from here it says that the only reason why the project was dead, because it seemed like Apius was bored of the project. That's unfortunate to hear. And then just left without any notice. And the only reason why they knew was anonymous statement 5. They knew from them because Dr. Apius asked them for a new piece of UI for a different project, which turned out to be Love Letter. It's oof. And we move on to programming, about programming a problem. Apparently, Narwhal isn't as good, or sorry, Dr. Apius or Narwhal isn't as good as a programmer as they seem to claim to be, because within 2 weeks, apparently they made that game, but within 7 weeks, they were able to do this list of things, which includes pulling out a camera, can't take photos though, killing students with knives, a fragile persona, a heroic persona, being able to clean up blood with a sponge, implementing uniform models, and then implemented animations and environment models that were ripped from Yandere Simulator. Ooh, that's not good. And that's it. That out of 7 weeks, they're kind of flabbergasted by that, because within this kind of beginning work should be simple. Even with Yandere Simulator in the very beginning, he implemented new features every 2 weeks. So it kind of feels weird that Narwhal or Apius was struggling. And then there's a small statement here that I talked about mental health. Apparently Apius talked about their mental health a lot. You're working on previous Yansim games. I'm assuming that counts Watashi no Mono. I'm not sure if that does. But my friend assumes that yes, he was working on that one as well. And they feel like Rebus feels like they should not be working on this kind of project if it's such a toll on their mental health. And we go down here about baseless accusations and refusal to apologize. Rebus apparently has a friend who was able to talk to Dr. Apius, but seems to refuse to apologize about giving a apology to the previous members. Now, he would accept, Rebus would accept that, using a new alias for a project because it failed, but it seems like he hasn't changed from his ways, especially with what's happened in the last week that's been revealed, right? So there's that. And then the last thing about base accusations, basically, they want to say that Rebus and his friend did not dox Dr. Apius. I want to emphasize that for them, including as well, later on I'll be doing a video on Ludwig. He has not also doxed Dr. Apius as well, and I want to make that clear for all these three parties that they have not doxed Dr. Apius, and apparently Dr. Apius has been lying to discredit critics, and that's unfortunate. Final word here from these people, and you can read that for yourself, and I can understand kind of their stance on things. So that's all that I have right now for the document for the team that some people from the team that did work on Heartbreak. Next video will be on Ludwig, a former admin and moderator for the Love Letter community. Just check out my playlist of Love Letter related videos over there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Boop!